Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be replacing spark plugs in this 2008 Nissan Pathfinder with a V6 engine and four-wheel drive. The reason we are going to be doing that is my engine gave me an error code when I did the diagnostic. It told me it was a P0306, and that is a misfire in cylinder 6 that can be caused by the ignition coil or the spark plugs, mainly spark plugs. The reason I checked for that is I started to feel vibration in the engine and the steering wheel. I can feel the vibration of the engine in the steering wheel, so I decided to run diagnostics, and I found out that error code exists. So the user maintenance guide for this vehicle does say to replace the spark plugs at a maintenance interval of 105,000 miles, which I passed, and I haven't done that. At my mileage now, the vehicle is at 122,000 miles, and it hasn't had any spark plug replaced. So that tells me one of the spark plugs is kind of malfunctioning. There's 6 of them in here. So for that is we need to replace them, and in the interest of saving money, I decided to do this myself. After talking to my colleague at work, he does some work on his vehicles, and he said it's definitely doable and we can do that. So I purchased some parts, and typically I would replace some simple stuff like the air filter there, the coolant liquid here, the windshield wiper fluid there, and the battery here. Those are simple things I usually do on my 3 vehicles, but today we will go in depth, and we'll be removing some parts from here and take the intake manifold out and replace the spark plugs. So I have some parts. I'm going to lay them down here on the engine, and I'll show you what they are and what I purchased. Alright, so here are some of the parts. Now the main thing you would need is spark plugs themselves, and I went ahead and purchased the original spark plugs that came with the vehicle. So I purchased these from NGK themselves from their website. This was $18 a piece. I just wanted to be at least 90% sure they are original, so I can buy these maybe from eBay or another store, but I will not be 100% sure they are original. They look like original, but they may be fake. I know a lot of people do fake stuff and sell them as original, so I don't know which one would be which, so I decided to go with the manufacturer's website. So I purchased these $18 a piece. So this is 6 of them. There is 4 here and there is 2 here, so 6 total for all of the cylinders. And these are the laser iridium premium spark plugs, and this is the number, and that is what is recommended by Nissan, and they are going to last at least 105,000 miles. As you can see in this vehicle, they lasted 122,000 miles, and only one of them failed, assuming that is the thing that failed. Anyhow, so that is 6 of these, and because I drove it 300 miles or so, or maybe 400 miles total on a misfire engine, my colleague at work suggested to replace the ignition coil at least for cylinder 6 alone, because there is a chance that may be defective by now. It may not be, but it might be. So the ignition coils, I also wanted, of course, to get original ones, and you can find original ones on different sites. But again, I'm faced with the issue of, is it really original or is it just fake with the original sticker on it? So I went and bought this from a Nissan dealership in a different state actually, and shipped it to me because it was cheaper at their store. For some reason it was on a discount. So this was $84 for 1 piece. Other Nissan dealers that I checked, maybe 5 or 6 of them around me, checked them all. They were all like 135, 145 a piece. So again, in the interest of saving money, I want to excuse me. Sorry guys, I've been sick for the past week. So again, in the interest of saving money, I went ahead and purchased just one to replace the one in cylinder 6, and hopefully the rest of them continue to work for a while. And this is what the box looks like. And since I was at their store, I also purchased other things like the air filter for the engine. This thing here goes there. So I purchased this one, also was on sale. I think it was $20 or something, don't remember. But this is the part number for it. They call it engine air filter element or cleaning element. So there is that. And I also went ahead, needed for this process is the gaskets for the intake manifold. The intake manifold is underneath there, and once you remove it, it's underneath there. Once you remove it, it has a cover for 6 cylinders, and this is for 2, so each one of these covers 2 cylinders. So I got 3 of them, and this is the part number. Okay, so the filter was about $20. This was about $12 or so a piece, and of course original, and this was $84. So again, I wanted to stay with the original parts, just because if they are not original, they may work, but also they may not, and the hassle of removing everything and replacing something that just not worth it to me. This is not needed, but I went ahead and bought one anyway. This is spark plug boot pliers. So you hold the boot of the spark plugs with this thing and you pull it. I'm guessing what they mean is the ignition coil. So this was, I think, $10 or $4, maybe $5 from Amazon. So no big deal. And I went ahead and purchased, let's see. I went ahead and purchased a HEPA air filter for the cabin. This is model number 6014C, and it's made by Bosch, as you can see. I think this was $20 as well. So it has 2 of these in there, 1 and 2, and these are for the cabin inside. Of course, this is not needed for this job, just wanted to show that. I also purchased a spark plug puller or socket that includes some magnet inside here, and it holds the socket, the spark plug inside. I got this from AutoZone, and this is their brand, Duralast, and the size of the socket is 5/8. This is what works with these spark plugs. And to go with all of that, I got this Nissan Pathfinder 2005 through 2014 repair manual from Haynes. So as you can see, even the picture on it looks like my vehicle, the same color and everything. So I bought this online, and as you can see, it is still sealed. I bought it online, and I bought the bundle that included the online version of the same book. So I've been using the online version to look up some stuff like the torque settings and things like that for the spark plugs. I didn't check the user's manual of the vehicle itself to see if it was included in there or not, but the Haynes repair manual does mention the torque settings. Excuse me. They also mentioned adding a little bit of the anti-seize lubricant to the threads of the spark plugs. They said to add it like somewhere in there for each one before inserting them in, and the reason for that is because the vehicle has been in use for a while, and there is a chance these threads may not be as perfect as if it was new. So it's nice to have the lubricant to prevent damage to the spark plugs threads. And I also was reading somewhere that you would need dielectric grease to add to the ignition coil. So this is how the ignition coil look like. This is how the ignition coil look like. So you would connect the connector there, and this is what you see here. For example, you see them over there. It's too sunny so you can't see them, but right behind that green thing is there. So that's how it looks like. It's inserted like so, and you will add the dielectric grease a little bit over here, because this will be inserted and sits on top of the spark plug inside. So the purpose of this, I was reading about it, it brings up the voltage from the battery is 12 volt, and this ignition coil changes that to 30,000 volts to cause the spark to cause the spark from the spark plugs to happen. So it needs 30,000 volts. That's the purpose of this. So I wanted to replace at least the one in cylinder 6 to make sure it works good. So that's where we are. I've got all these parts laid out. The only thing I didn't purchase, actually, which I realize now I need one, in the process of replacing this, we will be removing the what is this called, intake manifold, I think. No, whatever this is, we'll be removing this, and then we'll be removing these screws, so this piece comes out. This one is called throttle body something something, throttle body something something. So this has a gasket here that it is a good idea to replace, and you can see the gasket tabs right there. There is the gasket tab. So that's one I don't have. Of course, many of the auto parts stores have it, but I want to buy one original from Nissan. I checked earlier, it's between $8 and $12 for that part. So I'll go to Nissan in my area and buy one. So that's the only one I'm missing. But that's where we are. I've got all of that stuff. I think I'm covered. I just don't have enough time to do this job today. Otherwise I'll have to work at night. So I'll have to do this next time it's sunny outside, and probably next weekend, hopefully. All right, thank you. All right, so I turned the vehicle on, and it's been about maybe 5 to 10 minutes. I just let it reach operating temperature, and it's warm now. That section there was vibrating a little more than it is now. Now it's almost no vibration, but when I first turned it on, there was maybe 3 millimeter vibration back and forth, the whole thing. Now it's steady, and I suspect it's because it's warmer now. But here is how it sounds. I'm gonna let you listen to it for just a moment. Nothing really out of the ordinary. From here, you can hear something different. But that might be just normal too. I just haven't noticed it before. Okay, baby. That was in the grass. It was in the grass? Okay. Well, good job finding it. Okay, we'll put it in the trash later, huh? Yeah. Okay, good job. Okay, so now let's go inside. Let me turn the music off. So, as you can see there, it's actually not even 122,000 miles. It's 121,722 miles. I don't feel vibration in the steering wheel right this second. And maybe if I turn it off and turn it back on again, it will. I don't know. But it had reached operating temperature. I usually leave it in the auto mode here. So I only used it in 4 low one time or 2 times, but usually leave it in auto that way. Liam, can you wait a second, baby? Just one moment. I'm doing a video, Papi. Hold on. Just give me one moment. He got upset. Yeah, so I leave it in the auto mode instead of two-wheel drive, and that's what that symbol is there. But let me turn it off.
Power supply is disconnected.
Okay. So now it's off. Yeah. Give me one moment. Let me turn the car on. I'm going to turn it back on, okay? Nothing, just watch it. Okay.
Low dash cam is recording.
There's still no vibration, so it may not be as severe as I thought it might be. Just I had to drive it 300 miles to get back home from where I discovered the problem, so that's why I drove that long on the issue, but gonna get it fixed. Let's go back to the engine now. What's she doing? Okay. Yeah, same sound. There is nothing different. Found something else. We'll put it in the trash too, okay? I also discovered this thing here. Looks like some bee nest or something. That looks like a bee nest. Anyhow, I'll have to remove that when I remove the intake manifold. Alright, so we'll leave it at this until I start removing parts. Alright friends, so now we are at the step of removing stuff. So wish me luck. First we will disconnect the negative on the battery. And negative disconnected. Okay guys, so this was a bit more difficult than what is showed in videos and talked about. I had to use pry bar to pry this end and here in the center, just because it seems like maybe my engine cover never been removed before, so it was still from factory. But this is a rubber thingy. That's a rubber thingy there, and another one there that sits on top of these two bolts of some sort. And actually that one and that one there. So just need to use a pry bar to push it up and it comes off. In my case, it's just hasn't been removed before, I think.
And it's 40 degrees outside, so the rubber's really hard.
Yeah, and the car hasn't been used in a few days, so it's cold. All right, just wanted to show that part.
Back to the it's cold outside thing. So.
All right guys, so far we removed we loosened these two rubber hose clamps,
And it just comes this way.
and these two here,
You need a clamp.
and we need pliers.
Yep. Hose clamp
Yeah.
or pliers.
Hold on, I've got pliers. Alright guys, so we removed this part that was sitting here, removed the rubbery hosting, and oh, here it is. So this has two 10mm bolts here, and once you remove them, it slides out. Let me show you what this has. It has two pieces of rubber. This one here below and on top. So this screw didn't come out. This other one came out. So I'm not sure why, but that is what it is. Oh, and that hose, rubber hose, connects here, and it was hard to remove just because my colleague said it's cold outside, and this is cold rubber, so it was hard to remove. Okay, so we are going to remove the throttle body without disconnecting anything. We just remove it out of place so it's easier to work on. So 5mm Allen key, and I've got this sort of handle to loosen them. The handle is terrible. Let's put it in the middle here. I think I messed it up. It's damaged now. Yeah, now it's loose.
Where's your metal trays?
Long ones.
Yep. Save that one for last. Do the bottom ones first.
Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. How
Dennis.
are you?
Sorry,
nice to see you.
I got my hat on.
Good. It's cold
My
today.
ugly hat.
No, it's fine.
Where's
Leah
Leah?
is shy. Come here, Leah. You want to come help?
If you're moving something and it tries to drop, the bottom one will cause it to bite on the bolt. The top one will hang easier. So
Keep
that's
it hang.
yeah, keep it hanging.
Or you want to
Okay.
go?
So
It's supposed to look like that.
what?
The throttle body.
Dirty?
But
Yeah, you
it's
can
yellow.
you can use cleaner. That's
But
fine.
this is
Yeah, a little
Yeah, we will replace that later, but we need to remove this thing because this will come out, right?
I don't know. You watched the
Yeah.
videos.
I think it will come out.
I literally watched nothing, so I'm following you.
You're following us?
I'm following him.
Not the whole thing.
Okay. Are you videotaping or no?
I am, yeah. So you are featured in the video.
I'm trying to hide.
Where's the camera? I don't see it. Look, so windy. Yeah, come here.
It's gonna walk off. So grab this. I use the wide teeth.
Stop the video because it's going to be too long.
It's okay. You just edit that
They
out.
can't see this from here anyway. Okay guys, so we are removing this rubber hose, and it was again rubber, so it is hard because it's cold outside and it was stuck there, so we had to use a flathead screwdriver to pull it up just a little bit to break the tension, and it came off. And I was missing this gasket last time I did the video, so I got a new one, so we'll be replacing that one. For now that stays there, and you know, this is the throttle body thing sitting there. All right, so we didn't disconnect anything from here because I heard or read somewhere that if you do, then you will have to calibrate some stuff, and it takes a while, and if you are not experienced, will be a big problem. So I'm leaving that connected. Okay, so the next step is we need to figure out how to remove the intake manifold, the upper one, this one here. We'll need to remove the screws and bolts and nuts from there and take it up. All right, so that's going to be the next step. All right guys, so this was size 12. This was size 12 socket, and I removed it by hand just so I don't break anything. I'll try to do by hand as much as I could, or at least start the loosening by hand. So we will figure out which bolts and screws come out from here and take this manifold up. All right guys, so now we are removing the intake manifold, the upper one. I'm going to try to loosen it first with hand, and I will use the longer extension. I think it was 10. Okay, so I'm using a 10mm socket. It's loose. Yeah, he can come here. I'm doing a video, Liam. Come here.
He's still up there. He's out there and he's scary.
Make some noise here.
I can't reach in the end there.
What's up?
I can't reach.
What are you trying to reach? Second, the far back one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Leah, come here, Leah. Come. You wanna come?
That's where you lay on top, like I was laying on top.
Yeah.
Because I don't have long arms. You don't want to look at me, do you?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Or talk to me. I don't wanna
Leah,
look at
come
you or
here,
talk to you.
Leah. Don't be shy, Leah.
Okay.
Are you doing video now?
Okay, so I removed or loosened some of these nuts, and now there is one more in the back there, so I can't reach, but I can loosen these squeeze clips and push the cables in the back, so I can reach them. I think that's the only way. All right. Okay guys, so in the back here there is one more bolt we need to get to. If you notice there underneath the white bracket there is one more bolt, but it's hard to get to, so we are trying to remove this cable clips and then the bracket for the cable to get to it, and that's where we are now. That's the last bolt. There you go. So now that is loose and we have all 7 of them loose. We'll remove them and remove the upper intake manifold next part. All right, so okay, so now since everything is loosened, we will
what about the bolts on the left side?
I don't think there is bolts on the left side.
Are you certain?
Yeah, there is only
I've
those.
never seen a manifold cover that only has one set. It's okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, you're good.
If there
Go
is
ahead.
any, I don't see them. But,
Go ahead.
Let's get the size 10.
I should have done the back one. The back one's furthest away and the hardest.
Okay, let's try. There is one.
Then it's getting warm.
That's 3. I suspect we'll have to remove this part here, but I'll need a longer thing. Maybe I didn't loosen that.
That's a bracket right here. Yep.
Oh, there is a bolt. Oh, yeah. Yep. Let's remove that.
I don't know what you just loosened.
It's this one down here.
Okay. That's the manifold cover.
Alright, so what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna put this back in here so I don't lose it. Just gonna leave it there for now. I think this big one came out. Was size 12, this is 10. Just gonna leave them there so I don't get confused where they go. And now I can reach this thing. So now these other 2 are nuts. So there is one.
Rear.
The rear one.
Remove the rear one first. I think you're gonna need the wobble.
Wobble one. This wobbly stuff is cool. I have my car keys in that car. Earlier I was leaning on them and the trunk of my F4 opened.
Step on the thing.
I can't because once I do, I'm too tall to sneak in there.
No, I mean, fold the legs under and just use that. You literally need just that little bit, and you're back there. Yep. Bingo.
Now the bumper is in my knees.
Yep. That's okay. Just lean up just like that. Perfect.
Okay, I think before we get to that, there is this clip of this hose we need to remove, because once we do, it will release it, so I can push it further. I don't know how to release the thing.
Don't worry about that one, Nathan.
Because
Just do this.
I'm unable to push the hose.
Set this back up.
Alright guys, so we removed 5 of these bolts and they go in their respective places there, and we have 2 of these nuts. That is a total of 7. And then on the other side we went here to loosen this rubber hose. I think it's a vacuum hose of some sort, but it was so hard to do because the rubber was cold, but my colleague got it free. We just used a flathead screwdriver in the end there and loosened it enough to break the vacuum, and it came off. So that is what we did so far. And then we also loosened that, oh yeah, we removed the, it's so dark in the
Hose
video,
clamp?
the hose clamp. It's hard to show because the sun is too bright. So there is the hose clamp there, and then this other hose, we removed the bracket there, just loosened it, it came off. But it was difficult, it had a tab, so you needed a small flathead screwdriver. But that's what we did so far, and I think all the things are loose now. We can remove the upper intake manifold. Let me look on the back for one more time, see if we still need to. Well, I can't see from here, so maybe there is something to remove or maybe not. So let me put the camera on the tripod and then we will remove stuff. Okay. Okay guys, so so far turns out there is a bracket here that is holding 2 screws holding the intake manifold on. There is one screw right here and another one down there. It's hard to see because the sun is right in here. So anyhow, there is 2 of them, and they needed size 12mm socket to remove, and it was really tightened really hard, so it required a lot of effort. We needed to use a longer ratchet to do it, like this long here. See, this long here, to be able to have enough leverage to loosen it. It wasn't easy, and now it's loose, and we were able to loosen the intake manifold as well. You can see it's moving. So now, before we remove that part, we decided to blow some compressed air on it. Now it's not an actual compressed air, it's this thing here. It's rechargeable sort of thing. So we will do that and then remove the intake manifold. We also disconnected, this thing was sitting here. I removed it from its spot, but we realized we have to disconnect something because it's attached to here. So we disconnected this. So now this whole canister thing can come out with it, and this is the thing we disconnected. So this will go back into it afterwards. All right, so we are keeping track of the screws and bolts that we removed, keep them separate. All right. Okay, it's going to be noisy. Okay, so now time to remove it. And I suspect there is one more thing in the back attached to it. So we may need to, I can't see it, so I need to remove it first and look behind to see what it is. This bracket thing is in the way, so we need to.
You get to the hose.
Oh, I see.
Yep.
So this hose is connected to it via bracket, and oh, I see. It's one of these brackets you expand to lose, right?
You're gonna lift it and bring it forward.
I think the bracket in the back is holding it, even though we loosened it.
Pause it a second.
Hold on, let me draw it back.
So much dust. Okay, so we removed the intake manifold. We had to push that bracket to the back and pull up. It came off, but it's still there is one hose that needs to be removed. Now, the original hose we removed earlier was attached here, but this is an easy thing. You just lift it up, it opens and it comes off. But there's still that hose there needs to be removed, so that's what we're gonna do next. Same process, pinch, push and pull, and we'll see. Okay, so with a bit of luck we were able to remove the hose clamp from the back and remove the hose, and now this intake manifold thing comes out easily. Yeah, you just wiggle it out slowly. Woo. And that's how it looks like. Woo. And these are the gaskets that I purchased and showed you in the beginning of the video, so you will need to replace these. It's better if you do, because these been there for a long time, so they come 2 on each. Yeah, so they are worn out a little bit, so put this down here and let me show you inside of there. So this is how it looks like. So the gaskets and manifold will sit there, and these are the parts that we need to remove. These ones here and these ones here. And I have showed you this before, so we'll need to remove that. And oh, there you go. Some I guess flies or something found the spot and they liked it. All right.
Blow.
So much here. Okay.
Before you remove that, we have to.
Alright guys, so I blow some air in here and removed a bunch of dust. So now it's kind of almost clean. So basically I wanted to clean the spots here where the gasket sits, which I did. Now we need to remove these ignition coils and remove the spark plugs. So I'm going to do at least one of them, this one here. So based on this diagram, the spark plugs or ignition coils go like this: number 1, 2, so it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So number 6 is in the way back there on the right, so that's the one we will be replacing the ignition coil for. And we'll just do one by one so we don't get them moved around. I'm gonna try not to disconnect the ignition coils unless I'm changing it, so that's what I'm gonna be doing. Okay, so these bolts are size 10 millimeter sockets, size 10 millimeter sockets, and came with it. Alright, so there is.
Oh yeah,
We'll leave it. And kind of wiggle it a little bit. And it came off. So here is the, I don't know if you see it. Yeah, you see it. So that's the ignition coil, and now we'll remove the spark plug, the old one. Alright, so once you remove the ignition coil, it's a good idea to go ahead and blow some air in here to clean the hole. Now this is disappointing because that should be good enough. And we will remove the spark plug now. Wow, that's hard. I may need a bigger ratchet handle. Okay guys, this requires a lot of effort to break it, and okay, so I couldn't do it myself, so my colleague removed this for me and broke it. So now it's easy to remove. I guess I don't need this bigger one now. I need to remove this by hand. So here is one of them, and they seem to be very much used. But let me show you one of the new ones. So this is the new one, the box. Okay, and this is the new one, this is the old one. So you see it is exactly the same. And of course, to prevent buying fake ones, I bought these directly from NGK, so they are original. Okay, so now we'll put the new spark plug in. I usually turn it backwards, just one turn, and you feel it sitting back in, and that's when you start tightening. Make sure it is smooth. In the instructions it says to tighten it to 18 foot-pound of torque. And now it is hand tightened. Okay, it's hand tightened, so we need to torque it to 18 foot-pound, and that should be it. Let me get a torque wrench. Okay guys, we are moving on, and we will torque the spark plug now. That's gonna be difficult. Oh, I'm doing it wrong. I'm not hearing the click. Ignition coil. Alright guys, so now we put the spark plug, the new one, in place, torqued it down to the required setting, and now we will put the thing back, the ignition coil.
No, you're fine. Just put it back.
I'll just wipe it a little bit just to make sure there is no dust.
It's fine. It's fine.
Let me see. There's so much dust on these pipes.
It's okay.
But
It is not going to go in the combustion chamber. Just
alright. Okay, that seems to be in. Now we need to tighten it. Oh, maybe I should wait on this, because if I tighten it, the cord will be above the other ones. So I will just leave it loose so I can move it around. Okay. So that's at least how you do one of them. The rest of them will be similar. So we're gonna go ahead and do the rest of them since we are losing daylight. It's going dark very soon. So we'll show you in the end. Well guys, we lost that daylight, so now it's dark, and I'm using my under the hood light, and it's doing pretty good job lighting up everything, but it's cold. So we replaced the ignition we replaced the spark plugs and one of the ignition coils, that last one there. According to the diagram, that's supposed to be number 6. If not, then I didn't lose anything. but I think that's number 6. And this is the rest of them. The next step is we are going to put the intake manifold back in, but we went ahead and replaced the gaskets. We put the new ones in there, and it's a good thing because these were kind of damaged, these old ones. So good thing got the new ones. And the throttle body gasket is here. This is, in case you are interested in buying a throttle body gasket, this is the one I got for and it fits this V6 engine for a 2008 Pathfinder. It says gasket, and that's the model number. This was, I think, $12 from Nissan dealership. So it's a good thing I got this. I'm gonna replace it there too, and we are good. But I'll do this once we put the thing back. Of course, we need to remove these paper towels there. So hello everyone. So last clip you saw where the blue paper towels were inside of the pistons here. The open intake manifold was open, and we were still working the engine bay. So that day, or that night, the temperature went down to lower 20s, and it was really cold and it was dark. And for some reason I had my phone recording, and by the time we finished I looked at it and it actually didn't capture the videos, or it just captured them and did not finish, or something happened to it, not sure what, but didn't have the videos when we were putting things back together, unfortunately. So I'm so sorry about that. We planned on doing the whole job, but for some reason my phone failed me at the last minute there and did not catch the stuff when we were putting stuff back. But in the interest of knowing what happened, is we put things back to the same way we took them off. Just reversed the order, we put them back, and that was it, because we were almost done. We just putting things back together. So that's the part that was not captured for some reason, but I'm sorry about that. Once I drove it, after the following day I drove it, and it was working good. So I even felt the engine was even smoother when it was working, or using it was smoother in operation. So I drove it 200-300 miles within few weeks, and then a few weeks later I drove it another 600 or so miles. So total of maybe around 1,000 miles now, and it's been working fantastic. So just wanted to say that and finalize my video so I can put it up on YouTube. I'm going to turn the car on now, and we'll let you hear how the engine is. Alright, so as you can hear, it sounds really good. So I'm happy about what we did. It just so happened I didn't have a covered area, so I was working outside, and that day was very cold. It was I think it was at the beginning of February, so it's been a while. Yeah, so it's good. I think we had a success with this one, and I hope it's helpful to someone when they get to it. So I felt encouraged after this, and I'm planning to do some more jobs on my vehicles like this one, or similar, you know, like AC recharge and stuff like that. Alright, well, thank you so much for watching this video with me. I know it's been a long one. Just wanted to capture everything. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and write your comments down below if you have any. Thank you so much again, and have a wonderful day. Bye bye.